Ambassador Saria stood in the communication center, watching her world die. Through the massive windows, she could see the capital city of Veloth Prime stretching toward the horizon. Millions of lights twinkled in the growing darkness. In 3 weeks, all those lights would go dark forever. The Krith swarm was coming. "Send the message again," Saria said to the communications officer. Her voice was steady, though her hands shook. She was an insectoid being, tall and graceful, with 4 arms that now gripped the edge of the control panel. "Ambassador, we have sent it 200 times, the officer replied. "No one is answering." Saria knew this already. The great powers of the galaxy had heard the Veloth Confederation's call for help. They had all chosen to ignore it. Why would they waste resources on 7 peaceful species that controlled no valuable territories and possessed no powerful weapons? Let the Krith have them. Better the Veloth than us. That was how the galaxy worked. The strong survived. The weak perished. "Send it again anyway," Saria said. The officer nodded and began the transmission once more. The same message, repeated into the void. The Veloth Confederation was dying. The Krith swarm had already consumed 4 of their outer colonies. Billions were dead. The swarm would reach Veloth Prime in 21 days. They had nowhere left to run. Saria watched the stars through the window and wondered which ones would remember them after they were gone. Then everything changed. "Ambassador!" the officer shouted. "Energy signature!" "Massive energy signature at the edge of the system!" Saria's hearts began to race, all 4 of them. "The Krith? Are they early?" "No, Ambassador. The signature is wrong. It is a single ship, very large, moving very fast. It does not match any configuration in our database." A single ship. Hope died before it could fully form. What could one ship do against millions? The communications panel lit up with an incoming transmission. The officer stared at it in confusion. "They are requesting docking permission, Ambassador. They say they are responding to our distress call." "Put them on screen," Saria ordered. The view screen flickered to life. A human face appeared. Saria had seen humans before in the galactic database. They were newcomers to faster-than-light travel, barely 50 years into their exploration of the stars. They had no empire, no powerful alliances, no reputation for military strength. Most species barely knew they existed. The human on the screen was a woman with dark hair tied back from her face. She wore a dark blue uniform with simple markings. Her eyes were calm and intelligent. "This is Commander Park Jiwoo of the Terran heavy ship Indomitable, Terran Expeditionary Fleet," the human said. "We received your distress call, Ambassador Saria. We came as fast as we could. Permission to dock?" Saria felt all her limbs go weak. They had come. Someone had actually come. Even if it was just one ship from a species barely anyone knew. "Permission granted, Commander Park," Saria managed to say. "Welcome to Veloth Prime." 2 hours later, Saria met the human crew in the diplomatic meeting room. Commander Park stood at ease, flanked by 3 other humans. They all wore the same dark blue uniforms. Park introduced them one by one. Lieutenant Choi Min Seo, Tactical Officer, Dr. Kang Hai-wan, Chief Medical Officer and Xenobiology Specialist, Engineer Yoon Dae-jung, Head of Operations. They each nodded in turn. Saria studied them carefully. They looked so calm. Did they not understand what they had flown into? "Commander Park," Saria began, "I must be honest with you. The situation is desperate. The Krith swarm has destroyed 4 of our colonies. They number in the millions of ships. They do not negotiate. They do not stop. They simply consume everything in their path." Park nodded slowly. "Tell me about them." For the next hour, Saria explained everything the Veloth knew about the Krith. The swarm was a hive-mind species that conquered through overwhelming numbers. They took captive populations and forced them to serve the swarm. They used these captives as shields and as soldiers. Every species they conquered made them stronger. Park listened carefully. She asked questions that surprised Saria. She wanted to know about Krith biology, about their culture, if they had one, about what happened to the populations they captured, about civilian evacuation routes and refugee movements. She did not ask about weapons or battle formations or strategic targets. Lieutenant Choi studied the tactical data with a serious expression. Dr. Kang took notes about Krith physiology and the species they had assimilated. Engineer Yoon examined the technical specifications of Krith vessels. When Saria finished, silence filled the room. She looked at Park with despair in her eyes. "Commander, I am grateful you came. Truly. But you must understand, one ship cannot stand against millions. Even if your technology is advanced, the numbers are impossible. I do not want you to die with us." Park leaned forward. Her expression was kind, but absolutely serious. "Ambassador Saria, how many civilians are still in the outer territories?" The question confused Saria. "Perhaps 3 billion. We cannot evacuate them all. We do not have enough ships." "And how many captives are the Krith currently holding?" "We estimate tens of billions across all the species they have conquered. Why does this matter?" Park stood up. Her crew stood with her. "Because we did not come here to win your war, Ambassador. We came to make sure you survive it. All of you. Every civilian, every refugee, every captive the Krith are holding." Saria stared at her. "That is impossible." "Maybe," Park said. "But we are going to try anyway. The Indomitable leaves for the front lines in 6 hours. I would like Veloth observers aboard. You need to see what we can do." "What can you do?" Saria asked desperately. Park smiled. It was not a cruel smile or a confident smile. It was something else, something Saria had never seen from a military commander before. It was compassionate. "We can show the galaxy that there is more than one way to be strong," Park said. "We can show them that true strength is not about how much you can destroy. It is about how much you can protect." Saria did not understand, but she had no choice. The Veloth were out of options and out of time. "I will come with you," Saria said. Park nodded. "Then let us begin." The Indomitable moved through space like nothing Saria had ever seen. The human warship was massive, easily 3 times the size of the largest Veloth vessel. Its hull was dark gray, covered with sensor arrays and weapon systems that Saria could not identify. When it moved fast, faster than anything that size should be able to move. Saria stood on the bridge with Commander Park and her crew. Through the forward view screen, she could see the edge of Veloth space. Beyond that was the war zone. Beyond that was the Krith swarm. "Approaching the outer colonies," Lieutenant Choi reported from the tactical station. "Detecting Krith ships, multiple formations. Guji, estimated 3,000 vessels." 3,000 ships. Saria felt her heart sink. The Indomitable was impressive. But 3,000 to 1 was impossible odds. "Commander," Saria said quietly, "perhaps we should retreat. Gather more information, plan a better approach." Park did not take her eyes off the view screen. "What is your assessment, Lieutenant Choi?" Choi studied her displays. "The Krith formation is surrounding the 4th colony. They are not attacking aggressively. They appear to be herding civilian ships." "Herding them where?" "Toward their prisoner vessels. They are taking captives, not destroying the ships." Park nodded slowly. "How many civilian ships?" 47 detected, approximately 200,000 Veloth civilians total." Saria closed her eyes. 200,000 of her people about to be taken by the Krith, forced to serve the swarm. Their minds altered. Their bodies used as weapons against their own families. "We cannot save them all," Saria whispered. "Navigator," Park said calmly, "take us into the formation. Route Delta 7, Engineer Yoon, prepare the tractor systems. Dr. Kang, prepare medical bay for mass casualties. Lieutenant Choi, weapons free, but fire only on my command. The bridge crew moved with smooth efficiency. No one questioned the orders. No one hesitated. The Indomitable accelerated directly into the Krith formation. Saria gripped the railing, certain she was about to witness their deaths. The Krith ships detected them immediately. Hundreds of vessels turned toward the Indomitable, weapons charging. Then Park did something Saria did not expect. The Indomitable did not fire on the Krith warships. Instead, it dove between them, moving with impossible precision. It positioned itself directly between the Krith and the civilian ships. "Shields to maximum," Park ordered. "Protect those civilian vessels." The Krith opened fire. Energy weapons hammered into the Indomitable's shields. The bridge lights flickered, but held. The ship shook, but did not slow. "Shields holding at 70%, Choi reported. "They are concentrating fire on us. The civilian ships are no longer targeted." "Good," Park said. "Tractor beams. Grab those civilian ships. Pull them toward the jump point." Saria watched in amazement as massive tractor beams shot out from the Indomitable. They locked onto the Veloth civilian ships and began pulling them away from the Krith formation, one by one, two by two, pulling them toward safety. "Commander, Krith prisoner ships are changing course," Choi said. "They are trying to intercept." "Fire on the prisoner ships," Park said. "Disable their engines only. Do not destroy them." The Indomitable's weapons finally spoke. Precise beams of energy struck the Krith prisoner vessels, not the crew sections, not the power cores, just the engines. The ships went dead in space, unable to move, but still intact. "Why are you not destroying them?" Saria asked. Park glanced at her. "Because those ships are full of captives. Scan them, Ambassador. Tell me what you see." Saria moved to a sensor console. One of the human technicians showed her how to read the display. She scanned the disabled prisoner ships and gasped. "There are life signs, hundreds of thousands, different species, not just Veloth. There are Krith captives in those ships." "Captives the Krith took from other species they conquered," Park said. "People forced to serve the swarm. Engineer Yoon, prepare boarding teams. Dr. Kang, with me. We are going to free those prisoners." The next hours were chaos. The Indomitable continued to shield the Veloth civilian ships while simultaneously boarding the disabled Krith prisoner vessels. Human teams moved quickly, cutting through locks, shutting down control systems, and evacuating the captives. Saria joined Dr. Kang on one of the prisoner ships. What she saw there would stay with her forever. Thousands of beings from a dozen different species crammed into cargo holds. Many were connected to machines that controlled their minds. Others were sick or injured. All of them were terrified. Dr. Kang moved among them with quiet efficiency. She had brought medical teams from the Indomitable. They disconnected the mind control devices carefully. They treated injuries. They offered food and water. They spoke in calm voices, even though most of the captives could not understand the words. "It is okay," Dr. Kang said over and over. "You are safe now. We are here to help." One of the captives was a Krith soldier. Its exoskeleton was damaged, its compound eyes dim. The neural compliance collar around its neck sparked and smoked. Dr. Kang approached it carefully. "Do not get close," Saria warned. "Krith are dangerous." "This Krith is a prisoner," Dr. Kang said gently. She examined the collar. "This device is forcing it to obey. Look, the neural interface is burning its brain." With careful tools, Dr. Kang removed the collar. The Krith soldier collapsed. For a moment, it did not move. Then its eyes brightened. It looked around as if seeing for the first time. When it saw Dr. Kang, it made a sound. Saria's translator identified it. "Thank you." Back on the Indomitable, Saria found Commander Park in the strategic planning room. The commander was reviewing data with Lieutenant Choi. "We freed 12,000 captives," Park said without looking up. 7 different species. We are taking them to the nearest neutral world. They will be safe there. Commander, I do not understand, Saria said. You came here to help us fight the Krith. But you are not fighting them. You are rescuing people. Park finally looked up. Ambassador, the Krith swarm is millions of ships strong. We cannot defeat them in direct combat, no one can. But we can do something more important. What is that? We can save the people they are trying to take. Every captive we free is one less soldier in their swarm. Every civilian we evacuate is one less hostage they can use. Every species we help is one more ally who might stand with us. Saria sat down slowly. You are not trying to destroy the Krith. No, Park said. We are trying to take away their power, and their power comes from the people they control, so we free those people. That will take forever, Saria said. Park smiled. Maybe, but we have already started. And Ambassador, you should see this. She activated a display. It showed a star chart with multiple signals incoming. What am I looking at? Those are ships, Park said. Coming here. Some of the species we freed are sending help. They heard what we did. They want to join us. Saria stared at the display. 12 ships, then 24, then more. Species she had never heard of, species the Veloth had no alliance with. All coming to help because the humans had shown them something they had never seen before. A warship that fought to protect, not to destroy. 3 weeks after the Indomitable arrived, Saria stood in a command center that had not existed before. The humans had built it on a liberated space station at the edge of Veloth territory. The room was filled with representatives from 30 different species. Some were allies. Some were former enemies. Some had never met before. All of them were here because of Commander Park. The Krith are changing their tactics, Park said, standing at the center of the room. A holographic display showed the latest intelligence. They are abandoning direct assaults. Instead, they are targeting supply lines and civilian populations. They want to create panic. They want us to spread ourselves too thin. A reptilian being named Torvus spoke up. His people, the Skell, had been enemies of the Veloth for generations. 3 weeks ago, Saria would never have stood in the same room with him. Now he commanded a squadron of ships fighting alongside the Veloth. My scouts report Krith movements toward the refugee corridor in Sector 7, Torvus said. 200 civilian ships are using that route. The Makari have medical ships in that sector, added a floating crystalline being. We cannot move them quickly. Park studied the display. She did not make the decision alone. She never did. What do we have in range? Lieutenant Choi checked her tactical board. The Veloth 3rd Fleet, Skell Raiders, and our own support group, total of 70 ships, against approximately 300 Krith vessels, Torvus added. The room fell quiet. Those were bad odds. Even with the coalition working together, they were still badly outnumbered at every engagement. We split into 3 groups, Park said calmly. Group 1 escorts the civilian ships. Group 2 engages the Krith at maximum range, draws them away from the corridor. Group 3 positions here. She pointed to a location on the map. When the Krith commit to the fight, Group 3 cuts off their retreat and frees any captive ships they are transporting. It was a complex plan. It required perfect coordination between species that had never fought together before. But Saria had learned something over the past weeks. When Park made a plan, it worked. Not because the humans had superior weapons or technology, but because Park understood something fundamental. She knew that every species in this coalition had something valuable to offer, and she made sure everyone knew it too. The Skell are fastest, Park continued. You lead the engagement force, Torvus. Draw them out. The Makari have the best sensors. You coordinate the civilian evacuation. Veloth ships have the strongest shields. You escort the civilians directly. Each species got a role that matched their strengths. Each one felt valued. Each one fought harder because of it. "What about the Indomitable?" Torvis asked. "We take Group 3, Park said. "The rescue team, as always." Saria saw something pass through the room. Respect. These warriors from dozens of different worlds respected the human commander who had never once asked them to sacrifice more than she was willing to risk herself. The mission went exactly as planned. The Coalition saved all 200 civilian ships. They freed 6,000 more captives from Krith prisoner vessels, and they lost only 4 ships in the fighting. 4 was still too many. Saria found Park in the medical bay afterward. Dr. Kang was there, working on the wounded. The doctor had not slept in 30 hours. She moved from patient to patient with the same gentle care she gave to everyone. A Skell warrior with a damaged arm, a Veloth pilot with burns, a Krith drone still recovering from having its control collar removed. "You treat them all the same," Saria observed. Dr. Kang looked up, exhausted but focused. "They are all patients. They all deserve care." "Even the Krith?" "Especially the Krith," Dr. Kang said firmly. "They did not choose to fight us. They were forced. When we remove the collars, they are just people trying to understand what happened to them." She gestured to the Krith drone. "This one's name is Tick. He has been helping us understand Krith biology. He wants to help free his people." Saria looked at the Krith. Tick worked slowly, using his mandibles to organize medical supplies. He did not look like a monster. He looked like someone trying to find purpose after trauma. Park stood nearby, reviewing reports. Saria approached her. "Commander, I need to understand something. You share everything with us. Intelligence, technology, tactical plans. Why? Most species guard their advantages." Park closed the report. "Because we are not here to dominate, Ambassador. We are here to help. If I keep secrets, how can you trust me? If I hoard technology, how does that help anyone? The goal is not for humanity to be powerful. The goal is for all of us to survive." "But what if one of these species turns against you later? What if they use what you teach them against Earth?" Park was quiet for a moment. "That is a risk. But I would rather live in a galaxy where we trusted each other and sometimes got hurt than in a galaxy where we never trusted anyone at all." It was such a simple statement. Such a vulnerable position. Yet it was working. The Coalition was growing. Not because the humans forced anyone to join, but because they showed a different way to be strong. Engineer Yoon proved this every day. He had set up workshops on the station where he taught other species human engineering techniques. He did not hold back anything. He showed the Skell how to improve their engine efficiency. He helped the Makari enhance their sensor arrays. He worked with Veloth engineers to strengthen their shield systems. "Is your commander not worried you are making us too powerful?" a Veloth engineer asked Yoon. Yoon laughed. "Why would I worry about that? If you are strong, you can protect yourselves. If you can protect yourselves, I do not have to. That means more of us survive. Everyone wins." The Veloth engineer had no response to that. The concept was alien to everything the galaxy had taught them about power and survival. Lieutenant Choi ran training exercises with mixed crews. She taught combat tactics, but not the tactics most military forces used. She taught precision over destruction, protection over aggression, how to disable enemy ships without killing the crews, how to create safe corridors for evacuations during battle. "You fight like you are not trying to win," Torva said to her after one exercise. "We are trying to win," Choi replied. "But winning means everyone survives, including the enemy, if possible." Reports came in daily. The Coalition was making progress. Not through military victories, but through something more fundamental. Every captive they freed weakened the Krith swarm. Every civilian they saved was a person the Krith could not take. Every species they helped became an ally. The Krith leadership did not understand. They escalated their attacks on civilian targets, expecting the coalition to retaliate with similar brutality. Instead, Park accelerated the evacuation operations. She saved more people. She freed more captives. Then came the breakthrough. Tick, the freed Krith drone, approached Park in the command center. He had been working with Dr. Kang for 2 weeks, recovering from years of neural control. "Commander Park," Tick said, his voice strange through the translator, "I want to help. I can tell you where the Queen Mind is." The command center went absolutely silent. "The Queen Mind?" Park asked carefully. "The center of the swarm, the one who controls us all. If you want to stop the Krith, that is where you must go. I can tell you how to find her." Park looked at Saria, then at her crew, then at the dozens of species represented in this coalition. "Tell me everything," Park said. And the war entered its final phase. The hologram of the Krith Queen Mind filled the command center. It was massive, larger than any ship in the coalition fleet. According to Tick's intelligence, it sat at the center of the Krith core world, surrounded by millions of drones that existed only to protect and serve it. "One target," Torvus said, studying the image. "Destroy the Queen Mind, and the entire swarm stops. Every Krith drone will simply shut down. The war ends instantly." Saria felt hope surge through her. One strike, one target. After months of desperate fighting, they finally had a way to end this, to save the Veloth, to stop the killing. But Park was frowning. "Tick," Park said quietly, "tell them what you told me about the Queen Mind." The freed Krith drone stepped forward. He had been with them for 3 weeks now, slowly recovering his sense of self. He still struggled with the concept of individual choice. "The Queen Mind is not a machine," Tick said. "She is alive. She is sentient. She thinks. She feels. But she cannot stop." "What do you mean she cannot stop?" asked one of the Makari representatives. "The Queen Mind is a prisoner of her own biology," Tick explained. "Her body produces chemicals that force her to expand, to conquer, to consume. She has been doing this for thousands of years. She has no choice. It is her nature." The room erupted in arguments. Saria heard voices from every corner. "Then we must destroy her. She is the source of all this death. Trillions have died because of the Queen Mind. End her. End the war." Park waited for the noise to die down. Then she spoke, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Dr. Kang has been analyzing the data Tick provided. Doctor, please share your findings." Dr. Kang stepped up to the hologram. She looked exhausted. She had been studying Krith biology non-stop since Tick's revelation. "The Queen Mind is surrounded by millions of Krith drones," Dr. Kang began. "But not all of them are mindless. Some of them are aware. They are conscious beings, trapped by their biology, forced to serve and protect the Queen Mind. If we destroy her with conventional weapons, we kill them all, millions of sentient beings." "They are the enemy," Torvus said, though he sounded less certain now. "They are prisoners," Dr. Kang replied. "Just like Tick was. Just like the thousands of Krith we have already freed. If we kill them, we are no better than the swarm itself." Saria felt torn. She understood the logic. She had seen the freed Krith drones, had watched them struggle to understand freedom. But billions of Veloth lives hung in the balance. How could mercy toward the enemy matter more than saving her people? Lieutenant Choi stood up. "Commander, I disagree with Dr. Kang. Strategically, this is our only option. We cannot win through conventional warfare. The numbers are impossible. But if we strike the Queen Mind, we win instantly. One target, total victory. It is the logical choice." "Logical," Park said. "But is it right? Is letting billions die right?" Choi challenged. "Commander, I respect your principles. But this is war. Sometimes we have to make hard choices." Park nodded slowly. "You are not wrong, Lieutenant. This is the hardest choice we have faced." She turned to address the entire room. I will not make this decision alone. This coalition was built on trust and shared purpose. We vote. Strike the Queen Mind and end the war instantly, knowing we kill millions of potentially aware Krith. Or attempt something more difficult. What alternative is there? Saria asked. Dr. Kang believes we can sever the Queen Mind's biological control systems without killing her, Park said. If we succeed, we free her. We free all the Krith. The swarm collapses, but no one dies. What is the probability of success? Torvus demanded. Dr. Kang looked uncomfortable. Low, very low. We would need to infiltrate the most heavily defended location in Krith space, reach the Queen Mind, perform a surgical procedure on a being we barely understand, all while millions of drones try to stop us. And if we fail? Asked a Makari. If we fail, we all die, Park said simply. And the Krith continue. The room exploded again, species arguing with each other. Some demanded the safe option, destroy the Queen Mind, guaranteed victory. Others trusted the humans, believed in the harder path. Saria found herself unable to speak. How could she choose? How could anyone choose? Park let them argue. She stood in the center of the storm, calm and quiet. After an hour, she raised her hand. We vote now. Those in favor of the strike, destroying the Queen Mind. Hands went up. Saria saw Torvus raise his, saw several Veloth commanders raise theirs, more than half the room. Those in favor of attempting the liberation. Fewer hands. Dr. Kang. Engineer Yoon. Some of the freed Krith. Some of the species that had been rescued early in the campaign. Saria did not raise her hand for either option. She could not. Park looked around the room. The vote is for the strike, but I will not order it. Shock rippled through the command center. Commander, the coalition has decided, Torvus said. No, Park said. The coalition has voted, but I am the commander of the Indomitable, and I cannot order my crew to commit an act I believe is wrong. If we strike the Queen Mind, we become what we have been fighting against. We become the ones who kill millions of innocents because it is convenient. This is not about convenience. Saria found her voice at last. This is about survival. Park looked at her with sad eyes. I know, Ambassador, and I understand if you cannot support what I am about to propose. But I have to try. I have to believe there is a way to end this war without becoming monsters ourselves. What are you proposing? Saria asked. The Indomitable will attempt the infiltration. We will try to free the Queen Mind. Those who want to come with us, you are welcome. Those who want to strike the Queen Mind instead, I will not stop you. This coalition was built on choice, on trust. I will not force anyone to follow a path they believe is wrong. Lieutenant Choi stood up. Saria thought she would argue again. Instead, she walked to stand beside Park. I disagree with this plan, Choi said clearly. I think it is too risky. I think the odds of success are terrible. But I trust you, Commander. If you believe this is the right thing to do, then I will follow you. One by one, the Indomitable crew stood. Dr. Kang, Engineer Yoon, every human in the room. Then Tick stood. I will come. I will help free my queen. Then, to Saria's surprise, Torvus stood. I fought beside you for 3 months now. You have never led us wrong. I will come. More stood. Not all, but enough. Saria looked at the divided room, at the species choosing different paths, at Park standing calmly in the middle of it all, and Saria understood something. Park was not trying to win. She was trying to save everyone, even the enemy, especially the enemy. It was insane. It was impossible. It was the most human thing Saria had ever seen. I will come with you, Saria said, standing. Park smiled. Then let us prepare. We have a queen to free. The Krith core world looked like a nightmare. Saria watched through the Indomitable's view screen as they approached. Millions of ships swarmed around the planet in perfect geometric patterns, Every vessel moved in synchronization, controlled by the single mind at the planet's core, the Queen Mind. "Defensive formations are holding position," Lieutenant Choi reported. "They have not detected us yet." The Indomitable had been modified over the past week. Engineer Yoon had worked with engineers from a dozen species to outfit the ship with experimental stealth technology. It worked by mimicking Krith energy signatures, making them appear to be just another drone ship. "How long until we reach the surface?" Park asked. 17 minutes at current speed," the navigator replied. Saria stood beside Park on the bridge. She wore combat armor provided by the humans, though she had no idea how to fight. She was here as an observer, as a witness, and because she could not let Park face this alone. The Coalition fleet waited at the system's edge. If the Indomitable failed, they would strike the Queen Mind with overwhelming force, guaranteed destruction, guaranteed victory. But Park had asked them to wait, to give the liberation attempt a chance. "Passing through the outer defense perimeter," Choi said. "Still no alarms. The stealth systems are holding." They descended toward the planet's surface. Through the clouds, Saria could see the Queen Mind chamber. It was a massive biological structure, part building and part living organism. It pulsed with light. Energy signatures showed millions of Krith drones surrounding it in protective layers. The Indomitable landed in a clearing 3 kilometers from the chamber. The infiltration team assembled in the cargo bay. Humans, Veloth, Skell, and 3 freed Krith, including Tick. 30 individuals total against millions of drones. Dr. Abbas Kang checked her medical equipment one last time. She had developed a procedure to sever the Queen Mind's biological control systems. It was untested. It might not work, but it was their only chance. "Remember," Park said to the team, "we are not here to kill. We are here to free. Every Krith we encounter is a prisoner. Disable, do not destroy. Our goal is liberation, not annihilation." They moved out into the alien landscape. The ground was covered in organic matter that pulsed beneath their feet. Structures that were half technology and half biology rose around them. And everywhere, Krith drones moved in perfect formation. Tick led them through the patterns. He remembered the pathways from his time under control. He knew how the drones moved, how they thought, how they would react. "Stop," Tick whispered. His translator made the sound harsh. "Guard drones ahead. They will detect us." "Can we go around?" Park asked. "No, we must go through." Park looked at her team. She made a decision. "I will speak to them." "Commander, they will kill you," Saria protested. "Maybe," Park said, "but maybe they will listen." She stepped into the open. Immediately, a dozen Krith drones turned toward her, their weapons charged. Saria held her breath. "I am Commander Park Jiwoo," Park said calmly, her voice broadcasting through her suit speakers. "I am not here to harm you. I am here to free you." The drones did not fire. They did not move. They simply stared at her with their compound eyes. Then one spoke. "Free? What is free?" "It means having a choice," Park said. "It means being able to decide your own path." "I have freed thousands of your people. Tick, step forward." Tick moved beside Park. The guard drones recognized him immediately. "Drone Tick, you are defective. You abandoned the swarm." "No," Tick said. "I was freed. I chose to leave, and I chose to come back, to help you." The guard drones seemed confused. The concept of choice was alien to them. They had never experienced it. "The Queen Mind commands us to protect," one guard said. "The Queen Mind is a prisoner too," Park said. "She cannot stop. Her biology forces her to conquer. But we can free her. We can free all of you." "You lie. The Queen Mind is eternal. The swarm is eternal." "The swarm is suffering," Dr. Kang said, stepping forward. "Every drone I have freed tells me the same thing. You are aware. You think, you feel, but you cannot choose. That is not life. That is imprisonment. Silence. The guard drones did not move. Their weapons remained charged but did not fire. Then, slowly, one lowered its weapon. "Show me," it said. "Show me freedom." Dr. Kang approached carefully. The drone allowed her to examine the neural collar embedded in its exoskeleton. With precise tools, she began the disconnection procedure. It took 3 minutes. When she finished, the collar fell away. The drone collapsed. Saria thought it was dead. Then it stood up again. Its eyes were different, brighter, aware. "I remember," it whispered. "I remember being me." The other guard drones watched. One by one, they lowered their weapons. One by one, they asked to be freed. This pattern repeated as they moved toward the Queen Mine chamber. Some drones attacked, some had to be disabled, but many chose to listen. Many chose freedom. By the time they reached the chamber entrance, they had freed 200 Krith, and those freed Krith joined them. "The Queen Mind is inside," Tick said. "She knows we are here. She is calling all drones to protect her." "Then we move fast," Park said. They entered the chamber. It was enormous, a cathedral of flesh and metal, and at the center, suspended in a web of biological cables, was the Queen Mind. She was beautiful and terrible, larger than any living thing Saria had ever seen. Her form was insectoid but elegant, covered in flowing membranes that pulsed with light. Thousands of cables connected her to the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Each cable carried signals to the millions of drones across the galaxy. And her eyes were ancient, aware, sad. "You came," the Queen Mind said. Her voice filled the chamber, resonating through their translators. "I felt you across the stars, freeing my children, showing them something I can never give them." "We came to free you too," Park said. "I cannot be freed. I am the swarm. Without me, millions will die." "No," Dr. Kang said. "Without the control systems, you will still live. But you will have choice, and the drones will have choice. No one has to die." "My biology will not allow it. I must expand. I must consume. It is my nature." "We can change that," Dr. Kang insisted. "Let me try. Please." The Queen Mind's eyes focused on Park. "You are the one. The human who fights without hatred, who protects without conquest. Why do you care about us?" "Because you are alive," Park said simply. "Because you deserve freedom. Because ending your suffering does not require your death." Silence filled the chamber. Saria could hear drones approaching from outside, millions of them coming to protect their queen. They had minutes at most. "Do it," the Queen Mind said. "Free me, or kill me trying. Either way, let this end." Dr. Kang and her team moved quickly. They connected equipment to the biological cables. They mapped the neural pathways. They prepared the procedure that would sever the Queen Mind's compulsive control over herself and her swarm. "Drones incoming," Lieutenant Choi reported. 5 minutes until they breach the chamber." "I need 10 minutes," Dr. Kang said. "You will have it," Park replied. The freed Krith positioned themselves at the chamber entrance. Saria stood with them, holding a weapon she barely knew how to use. The first wave of drones arrived, but they did not attack immediately. They stopped. They saw Tick and the other freed drones standing in their way. "Brothers," Tick called out. "Sisters, you do not have to fight. You can choose. Join us." Some drones hesitated. Some even lowered their weapons, but others could not resist the compulsion. They attacked. The battle was brutal but precise. The freed Krith disabled their controlled brothers without killing them. Park's team used non-lethal weapons. Even in the midst of combat, they fought to preserve life. 7 minutes, Dr. Kang called out. "The procedure is working," the Queen Mind screamed. Not in pain, but in revelation. Saria saw the biological cables begin to disconnect, saw the control systems shutting down. saw the ancient being experiencing choice for the first time in millennia, and across the galaxy, millions of Krith drones stopped. They stood still, their weapons lowered, their minds suddenly their own. "It is done," Dr. Kang said, exhausted. The Queen Mind hung in her web, cables disconnected, free at last. Her eyes were clear. "I am alone," she whispered. "For the first time, I am alone in my mind, and it is beautiful." Saria watched as the attacking drones stopped moving, watched as awareness returned to their eyes, watched as they looked around in confusion, seeing their surroundings as individuals for the first time. The war was over, not through destruction, through liberation. Commander Park stood before the Queen Mind. "What will you do now?" "I do not know," the ancient being replied. "I have never had to decide before. It is terrifying and wonderful." "Then take your time," Park said gently. "Learn what it means to choose. Your children will need you to guide them through this transition." Saria found Park later as they prepared to return to the Indomitable. The ambassador had tears in her eyes. "You did it. You actually did it." Park smiled. "We did it. All of us together. The galaxy will never be the same." "I hope not," Park said. "I hope we showed them something important." "What is that?" Park looked back at the chamber where the Queen Mind rested, free and healing. "That true strength is not about how much you can destroy. It is about how much you can protect, how much you can heal, and whether you can see the person behind the enemy, even when it is hard." Especially when it is hard. Saria watched as freed Krith drones helped each other understand their new reality, watched as species that had been enemies worked together to begin healing. The Indomitable left the system surrounded by grateful allies. The Veloth were saved, the Krith were freed, and the galaxy had learned that there was more than one way to be strong. Sometimes the greatest strength was compassion,